Directions. Divide using partial quotients. Check your answer with multiplication. Make sure you are using your paper to solve and check your answer. Make sure that your paper is in front of you, and we can begin by solving 560 divided by 9 using partial quotients. On the left side of your paper, write 560 divided by 9. In order to stay organized, go ahead and draw a line down from your division sign. On the left side of the line, we will be doing repeated subtraction. On the right side of the line, we will be figuring out how many groups of 9, our divisor, we can take out of 560. Remember, if at any time I'm going too quickly in this video, you can pause the video or you can rewind to go back and hear something again. The goal for using partial products as a division strategy is so that we can see how many groups of 9 there are in 560. In order to think about how many groups of 9 we can take out of 560 and be the most efficient, we often use a strategy called benchmarks. Benchmarks can be found many different ways. The goal is to eventually be able to find benchmarks using mostly mental math. So when we're finding benchmarks, we want to be thinking about our groups of 9. Everything that we find in benchmarks has to do with the number of groups that we're looking for, which in this problem is 9. I always start with one group of, times means groups of, one group of the number, because that's the easiest. One group of 9 is 9. I then like to do 5 because 5 is an easy number for me to multiply. 5 groups of 9 is 45. Then we try 10. 10 is an easy number. 10 groups of 9 is 90. We already found 5 groups of 9, so now I'm going to try 50 groups of 9 because that's pretty much the same as 5 times 9, only I have 5 tens now. So instead of 45, we'll have 45 tens, meaning that there'll be a 0 placeholder in the ones place. Now we're getting closer with 450 to the number 560. If I do 100 groups, for example, 100 groups of 9 is 900. That is way too much. So we can't use 100 groups. If we wanted to, we could say, well, I know that it's kind of close to 450, and that was 50 groups. What if I tried 60 groups of 9? And we can use our patterns of 10. 6 times 9 is 54 tens. So 54 is in the tens place. Yes, 540 is close to 560. By going and doing 60 times 9 instead of 50 times 9, I cut out a lot more subtraction. So we're going to be subtracting 540. 560 minus 540 is 0 minus 0 is 0. 6 minus 4 is 2. And 5 minus 5 is nothing. So we're left with 20. Before we move on, we want to think about how many groups of 9 are in 540. In 540, there are 60 groups of 9. So in our groups of 9 column over here, we need to write 60 next to 540 because there are 60 groups of 9. Now we have 20 remaining. Can we take away groups of 9 from 20? Yeah, we can. 9 is small enough. We could subtract 9 and get our answer. But there's more than one group of 9 in 20. So I want you to skip count by 9s. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27. All right, we've passed 20. We know that 20 is in between 18 and 27. So 9 times 2 is actually going to be a good benchmark for us. 2 times 9 is 18. We can take away 18 from 20. 20 minus 18 is 2. Before we move on, let's think. How many groups of 9 are in 18? There are 2 groups of 9 in 18. So we have 2 groups of 9 in 18. We have 2 here. Can we take away a group of 9? No, there's not enough. So this 2 becomes our remainder. Let's add up our number of groups of 9. 60 plus 2 is 62 groups of 9 with 2 remaining. Before we can go to the next slide and type in our answer that we got, we need to check our work to see if we're correct. So we must know that in division, the first number is our dividend. Then we're dividing by our divisor, which is the number of groups that we're splitting our dividend into. And our answer is called the quotient. What is left over is the remainder. So when we check our work, we take our answer that we got, the quotient, and we multiply that by the number that we divided by. Quotient times divisor, and then we get an answer. If we have no remainder, this is our quotient. If we do have a remainder, we need to add it to the product that we got when we multiplied the quotient times the divisor. When we add our remainder, we should get the dividend that we started with. Let's check our work. Our quotient, our answer to our problem, was 62. And we multiply 62 times our divisor. Our divisor is 9. Pause the video so you can multiply. I'm going to solve using partial products, so I'm going to multiply the 1s times the 1s, which is 2 times 9. My product to 2 times 9 is going to go here. Then I'm going to multiply the 10s times the 1s. So the value in the tens place is not 6, it is 60. 60 times 9. Go ahead and find the product and write it here. Then you're going to add these two together. That will give you a sum that is close to the dividend. However, it's not quite 560. So we know that we need to add our remainder. So go ahead and add the remainder, and you should get your dividend that we started with of 560. If you do not get your dividend, that means that you need to go back and check, did I multiply and add correctly? If you did, then the problem is with the division. And you would need to go back and check your division. Check your benchmarks, check that you put the correct number of groups of 9 and that you subtracted correctly. Then go back and check, multiply and add and see, did I get my dividend that I started with? If so, then it is correct. On the next slide, where this blue question mark is, you are going to type in your answer, 62 remainder 2. Good job.